Hey people, welcome to the channel, and in this case talking about air guns, specifically the Glock 19 licensed version in 4.5 millimeters. Before I go on, if you want to learn more about survival, preparedness, self-defense, and practical skills for the modern world, I strongly recommend you get to survival skills, especially with all of the self-defense stuff. It's really going to help you get a lot better prepared, as well as surviving the economic collapse based on my experience going through that in Argentina. Especially given the way the world is these days, I think it's more important than ever to be well prepared. Now, this is also going to help you a lot in avoiding some of the common mistakes. Now, I'm doing this video because of a question that I got here in YouTube, which, by the way, if you have any questions, any topics you'd like me to talk about in future videos, be my guest by all means. That's what I do. Leave your comments and suggestions there below. I'll try to address them as soon as I can. So, in terms of air guns, I've owned a number of them over the years, even as many of us, even before I owned any actual firearms. The air gun is the one that gets most of us started. And the Glock 19 air gun is a very, very nice version. It looks very, very similar to an actual real gun, right? It looks just like a Glock 19. Very close, and I get it why. Even the safety, I mean, there's a little bit of a difference there. I don't know if you own an actual Glock pistol or not, so as to let me know in the comments there below what you think. I mean, if I compare it to my actual Glock, there is, a striking similarity between these two. Of course, my Glock has different, it has night sights and so on, and this is 9mm, this is 4.5 little steel balls, so there's going to be a little bit of a difference. And as you see, the 19, that's why so many in terms of armed forces, and even for carrying, is it really all that different? This is going to be a version of the Gen 3 Glock. Mine is a Gen 4. You have the Gen 5 currently. Not a lot of differences, but yeah, there's tiny little things and even improvements that have been made over the years. But I would say it's a fairly reliable copy of Glock 19 Gen 3. I've owned Gen 3s before, and I will tell you, it's this part like this sort of thing is, you will be very hard pressed to tell the difference. Of course, when you start looking at it closer, it's not going to be disassembling like a Glock and so on. But in terms of geometry and feel, very, very close. Now, let's start going through some of the possible uses and some of the things you're thinking about, and maybe you're completely wrong. Let's start with a more dangerous one, which is, hey, I want to get my Glock 19 air gun for self-defense. It looks like a Glock, it shoots little steel balls. Is it good for self-defense? And the answer is absolutely, completely no. It is not. Right? I think that's obvious enough. If you have to defend yourself, go with a 9mm pistol or any actual real firearm is going to be it's going to be a lot more adequate than an air gun. Now, here's where, and I've even read comments, and they're crazy enough that there was this guy that left a comment a while back about how he was in his house, and he was home, and he heard someone breaking in, and he went for his gun, but his girlfriend started shouting at him about, what are you doing? And he cowered enough so as to, instead of getting his real gun, he picked up his air gun. And he picked that up, and when the guy actually broke in, he shot him with the air gun and shot him a bunch of times, and the little pellets stuck underneath the skin, and he ran away. So you are the luckiest bastard alive. You're extremely lucky. That is not something you should be doing. If someone breaks into your house and your life is in danger, you defend yourself with a real actual firearm, not with basically what is a toy. Yes, it has happened before that people get scared even when you aim at them with a Nerf gun. Now, that's not something you want to do when your life is in danger. And about the yelling girlfriend, grow a pair of balls. I mean, honestly, you have to act like a man. Don't be a bitch. So, in terms of self-defense, no, it's not a real thing. Will these penetrate skin? I will say yes, at very close range with one of these. Is penetrating skin enough for stopping someone? No. I mean, even if you shoot someone like 5 times or 10 times in the face, and even if you compromise someone's eye or that person ends up losing that eye, that is not a reliable stopping power by any means. The massive difference is that this thing is firing these little steel balls, and this other thing is firing 9mm. Right? There's a huge difference in terms of how effective one thing is. I mean, all of this sounds painfully obvious for, I guess, most of you watching this, but believe me, these are the kind of things that people ask. And at times, there's people wondering about this, or, oh, maybe I could. No. Scaring someone is not a reliable way of defending yourself. You may actually pull it. You may actually get lucky a couple times, but one of those times someone will pull a real gun and will shoot you for real, and all you have in your own hand will be an air gun. So that is something. Oh, but I have nothing else and my uncle will save. Okay, you really have nothing else and you want to try as a last desperate resort to just get out of here. It kind of looks in the dark similar enough. I mean, in the dark, none of us with low light, none of us will be able to tell the difference. Now, good light, someone aiming this at your face, yeah. I mean, there's a bunch of things that are just, even when you look at it like a little bit, it's a nice job that they did here, but if you look even closer, you can actually see the smaller barrel of the air gun there. So there's things here that will be a telltale for someone that knows about firearms that this is not a real thing, right? This right there, of course not, right? This is how it looks, and this is. But low light, stressful moment, maybe you get away with it. Now, the interesting thing is that these are close enough that you can use this for practice, for training in terms of drawing, your stance, aiming, shooting even at very close range. It's not going to be making a massive difference. Yes, this is tremendously more accurate than this thing, which doesn't even have a rifle barrel. It's just shooting these little balls. If we go by what the box actually says, there's a little bit of, uses this 12-gram little CO2 bottles, little things, capsules, 3 joules of power. That is not enough for hunting. 3 joules, that's enough, and this is based on my experience. A fresh one of these, the first 10 rounds or so, will you kill maybe a small bird at 10 meters away or so? Yeah, it may do that. Is it something that you could use to kill a small rat at very close range? Yes. Barely so. I've done it before, so I know it can be done. I've done it several times before, so I know it can be done. But is this something for small game hunting? No. You're using big boy words there. Small game hunting involves something else, something that will have a lot more power. So maybe an air gun carbine of some sort with a lot more power. Yeah, a lot more punch. Absolutely, it can be done. So the way I see it, it is for a limited amount of pest control at very close range. Yeah, even when indoors, I had to kill a rat once and use an air rifle in 22, and that was maybe a little bit too powerful for indoors. This would have been even better suited for that sort of thing. So indoor, little pest that got into your house. So these are all things that are realistic enough that you can go, yeah, hey, this is something I will use for training, very cheap. 1,500 little BBs in here for nothing, super cheap. These are cheap too. This is cheap, well, cheaper than some other ammunition, but nowhere near as cheap as that. So it's a lot more affordable. It is similar enough in most other things that you can use it for very cheap training, and also a matter of very convenient training. You can have a little box of cardboard somewhere in your garage or your backyard, and you can even save these so you have to get them back and not even spend that. So for very affordable training and convenient training, given how similar they are, yeah, that is something I absolutely see. Hell, that's why I even got this thing, given that it's so similar to my actual gun that I feel that I'm not wasting time in getting used to a system and a geometry and a form factor. That's not. This is a little bit wider than the actual gun. I don't know exactly why that is, but in some holster it fits, in some others it does not. So I don't know if they changed. I know there's a bunch of different versions, and some of these are not even a pellet. They're airsoft, meaning the larger plastic, yellow plastic balls. I like this one better because it offers that extra capability. Now, that's the airsoft version is going to be safer for indoor and avoiding the bouncing and maybe getting someone hurt if that's not something you want to throw there into the equation as well, like pest control and so on. But guys, that's basically it. These are the things that I've covered also in my books, explaining why even an airsoft or air gun version of your firearms is a good idea. That's going to be all. See you next time. Take care.